By the end of this video, you will learn the 5 habits that instantly make a pickleball player look amateur, why those habits keep costing points, and what better players do differently so you can start making smarter choices, winning more rallies, and looking much more in control on the court. A lot of players think being advanced is all about having flashy shots. They think it is about ripping winners, hitting crazy speed-ups, or pulling off highlight reel counters. But honestly, that is not usually what separates stronger players from weaker ones. Most of the time, the difference is much simpler. Better players make better decisions, manage pressure better, and stop giving away easy opportunities. The first major sign is that you play the same way, no matter who is on the other side of the net. This is such a common mistake because a lot of players are so focused on their own shots that they forget pickleball is not just about what you want to do. It is also about what your opponents can and cannot handle. Stronger players are constantly gathering information. They are watching what happens when they speed the ball up. They are noticing whether their opponents can counter well or whether they panic under pressure, and whether certain patterns keep producing the same result. Amateur players, on the other hand, often just keep doing their favorite thing over and over. A simple example is the dink rally. Let's say every time you speed the ball up, your opponent misses. That is a huge clue. That means you probably do not need to stay super passive and dink forever. You can actually be more aggressive because the evidence is telling you that your opponent is not handling the attack well. But if you keep speeding it up and they are countering effectively, now the match is telling you something else. It is telling you to slow down, be more selective, and wait for a better ball. The same thing applies from the back of the court. If your drives are creating weak replies or outright errors, then leaning into the drive more often might be the smart play. But if your opponents are blocking those drives deep, keeping you back, and making life hard on your next shot, then maybe you need more drops and a more patient path to the kitchen. Good players do not marry one strategy. They adjust. Targeting matters too. If someone has a shaky backhand, that should matter. If their forehand is the stronger wing, that should matter. The point is not to overcomplicate things. The point is to stop playing on autopilot. The second big sign is not using the split step or using it at the wrong times. This one is easy to overlook because it is not flashy at all, but it has a huge effect on your balance, your timing, and your ability to react. The split step is basically the move that gets you low, centered, and ready, right as your opponent is making contact. It is what helps you react instead of guess. When players skip it, they often look like they are still moving when the ball is already coming back, and that is a terrible place to be. One of the biggest places this shows up is in the transition zone. When you are moving up through the court, you need that little split right as your opponent hits. That low ready position helps you push side to side and stay balanced for the next ball. Without it, you are basically hoping the ball comes right to you. Another huge moment for the split step is after the return of serve. A lot of players hit the return and start moving in, which is good, but then they forget to gather themselves before the third shot comes back. The split step solves a lot of that. You return, move in, then right as the opponent is about to hit, you split and get ready. That gives you a better chance whether the next ball is a drop, a drive, or something in between. What makes stronger players look so smooth is not that they are magically faster than everyone else. A lot of the time, it is just that they are using good timing. The third sign is one of the biggest giveaways of an amateur mindset: attacking at the wrong times. This happens constantly. A player gets pressured, feels uncomfortable, and instead of calming the point down, they try to blast their way out of trouble. Usually that just makes things worse. A good general rule is this: if you are stuck deep in the court, if you are reaching, falling, or trying to hit from below net height, those are all warning signs. In those moments, your job is not to force a winner, your job is to neutralize. That usually means using the soft game. It means hitting into the kitchen, resetting the rally, and giving yourself a chance to move forward into a better position. Because if you are already losing the positional battle and then you attack anyway, you are often just giving your opponents an even easier ball to punish. This shows up at every level, but especially in dinking rallies. Players get impatient, they feel pressure. They do not like the idea of staying in a long rally. So they speed up a ball that is too low, then their opponent counters cleanly and ends the point. That is not bad luck. That is usually bad timing. Stronger players are much better at staying calm in those uncomfortable moments. They do not feel like they have to escape pressure with aggression. They trust that they can reset, stay patient, and wait for a better ball. So if you want to stop looking amateur, stop trying to win the point from positions where you can barely survive it. The fourth sign is poor smash technique. A lot of players get overhead opportunities and still do not finish the point. Not because overheads are hard in general, but because their mechanics are making the shot weaker than it should be. One common issue is using too much arm and not enough body. If you are just swatting at the ball with your arm, you are leaving a lot of power and control on the table. Better overheads come from turning the shoulders, loading the body, and rotating through the shot. That body turn makes the whole motion stronger and more fluid, and footwork is another major piece. A lot of players backpedal straight backward when chasing a lob or preparing for an overhead. That is slower, less balanced, and honestly, a little dangerous. Turning and moving with crossover steps, or at least turning and shuffling, keeps you more controlled and gives you a much better chance to hit a quality smash. The bigger message here is simple. If you get a chance to hit an overhead, you want to make that chance count. The fifth sign is when you are up at the net, your opponents are back, and you are not aggressive enough to keep them there. This is such a common mistake because many players get a ball they could pressure, but instead they play something soft and easy that basically invites the opponent forward. If your opponents are back and you are up, that is a good position for you. You want to keep it that way. So if you get a ball that is high enough to attack down, you should be thinking about using that advantage, even on lower balls. The goal should still be to make the next shot hard for them, especially by targeting their feet. You do not want to float something comfortable that lets them step in and improve their position for free. This is where topspin becomes really useful. On those mid-height or lower attack balls, topspin helps the ball dip and then kick forward at the opponent's feet. That makes resets harder and gives you a better chance of getting the weak reply you are looking for. Now, if they are driving the ball instead of dropping it, the idea stays the same, but the technique changes a little. You still want to keep them back and make the next shot uncomfortable, but now you are often using a firmer punch volley instead of trying to add a ton of spin. Because the ball is already coming fast, stability matters more. A strong, compact volley down at the feet is usually enough to keep the pressure on. The good news is that every one of these habits can be fixed. None of them require a miracle. They just require awareness and better choices. Start watching the other side of the court more closely. Get lower and use the split step at the right moments. Stay patient when you are under pressure. Clean up your overhead mechanics. And when you earn the advantage, actually use it to keep control of the rally. That is how players stop looking amateur. Not by adding a bunch of flashy shots, but by making fewer bad decisions and taking better advantage of the opportunities they already have.